Hey folks, how's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. Alrighty. Alright, good news, I did get my XAMPP fixed, which was crazy. I don't know if it was like a recent Windows update or what, but the 50,080 port just doesn't work anymore. And I still have not had a chance to figure out why. Nothing's using it, which is super confusing, but that's okay. So we can talk about debugging and form data that we missed from last week, and then we should be able to get into arrays. We've kind of already done functions as we looked at this model view controller thing here, and then objects. We'll see how far we get tonight. We'll also talk about project 2. I'll go over the solution to that. And, is it laggy? What is going on here? Inspector. I'm like the only one home right now. Okay. Says I've dropped a couple frames, but okay, not too bad here. All right, cool. So we'll fire this up. I'll take a look and see. Come on. You can do it. Sweet. And because I did actually reinstall everything, when we talk about debugging, we're going to do it totally fresh, which is kind of fun. So we'll get it set up here on my machine, and then you folks can follow along later. It's not actually as hard as it makes it seem, but we need to use the latest version of Xdebug, version 3, not version 2, and then life will be good. So we'll take a look at that first. So we want to figure out how we can debug our programs. Actually, we'll do project 2 first. That's right. Let me show you project 2. We'll go over that. Hopefully that went well for you folks. We had that course example that we did here in class, and we were just trying to move that over for sections, for enrollments, and for students. So we can manage all of that data. So we can read it, we can update it, we can delete it, and we can create it, or CRUD, right? Create, read, update, delete. Do those counting CRUD operations. No thumb, just the 4. Okay? So let's see if we can take a look at doing some of those. And I got the Mvc Style Example, where we have the model that is essentially, this is all of the code, this is all the interaction, this is all the logic out here in the model. And then we have the views, which are how we show the data. And then we have the controller, which kind of sits in the middle. So you always talk to the controller. The controller goes out and asks the model to do things, and then says, hey, go see this view. We're going to try and follow that model here and continue with that for this. And then we'll talk about the next project as we get going here. All right, that was our registration MVC page. I'm almost out. This is unfortunate. All right. So close that. There we go. So we just have our MVC style page. So I'm actually going to use this one here and continue with this to do project 2. Again, you didn't need to do the MVC style where you have the model, the view, and the controller. You're welcome to do it the other way, but you'll see this sort of keeps things a little cleaner, right? We're just going to have a couple controllers, right? One for course, one for section, one for enrollment, and one for student. And then each of those controllers will have a model they can talk to and views that they can load. So this idea here with our course controller, it uses the database model to connect to the database. It uses the course model for all of the course functions that we wrote. And then it goes and sees, hey, what action are you trying to do here? So everything is going to be sent to the course page here. And it's going to look for the action. So if you don't have an action, we'll assume you just want to list. So we'll call the list courses function that we wrote, right, over in our course model. Whether or not we have a department, right? If it was an empty department, we're just going to get them all. If it was a specific one, we're going to load it up and do our matching here. Okay? And then again, we're using this %, so we can get wildcard matching instead of exact equals, which is kind of fun for our department matching there. The filtering you didn't need to do for the other ones. That wasn't required for project 2. I just wanted to show you, you can do some cool filters like that if you want to find out specific values. You can imagine those lists will get pretty long as we get more and more data. Okay, we're adding a course, right? You tell me the department, the name, the number, and the credits, and we'll go and add it. You want to delete it? We're just deleting by ID. That's the easy way to go right now. And updating, we're just going to update everything. Okay, So these are the functions that we wrote in our model that go and do the logic. Right? This is what's happening behind the scenes. And our course just says, okay, go do that then. If it's add, go get the arguments here from our post input, call the function, and then header, remember, is going to redirect you back. So it's going to add a course, and then header is actually going to reload the page. So if we watch this one run here, let me run it here. Oh, yeah, it should launch my Firefox. There we go. Is it laggy? Are we doing all right? Yeah, it's a little hit or miss. Is it too bad for you folks, or is it working out okay? Looks like it's dropping 10% of my frames, but hopefully you can still see. We don't need any fantastic frames per second, as long as you can hear me okay. I just don't want the wah, 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 wah. We go to courses, and if we want to add a course, right? So add a course, we'll then use this header to redirect us back. Okay, not bad, just all right. I'm sorry, I guess I can kill my Wi-Fi real quick. You want to just disconnect, reconnect real fast? Let me try that real quick. Should be right back. Hey, am I back? How about now? Okay, sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to have some built-in buffering. I still don't entirely know how all these details work. So is it better? It says I'm getting a better signal now. So I wonder if I switched between like 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. I really should just run a cable, but I don't want to have to drill a hole through my floor and my ceiling to run a Ethernet cable up to my office. Because I'm up in the second floor. I took over the playroom when this pandemic happened. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to see that it's going to redirect us here. So what we can do, if you turn on DevTools, that's F12, I'm going to check the network here. And we want to make sure we get all of them. I think we're going to get all of them here, right? Yeah, we should be good. Is that the one I want? Yes, so you want to persist logs, because otherwise it's going to do the add course, and then it's going to redirect again, and you're going to see it. I mean, I have to punch a hole somewhere to run the cable, because the router's on the first floor. Anyway, so we'll add a course. So let's add CIS 2454 web tech. What do we? Oh my goodness, web systems development. Really should know the name of my own course. It's been one of those days. All right, we'll add a course, and we're going to see it's posting to course.php. And the response we get back here, it's not even showing us the response here in the headers. It should redirect us back. Yeah. Response headers. Here's our request, right? Here's the post we're sending. It doesn't show. Oh yeah, the status is 302. So that's what we get. So this 302 status, this HTTP status code 302 means redirect. So hey, you went here, but I'm actually going to send you to somewhere else. So we are post successfully to course with this as our information, our request, and then we come back to course again with no headers, or no request body, no form data, no post data. Now we have our course, and you'll notice a refresh now just works. Because when that header happens, the most recent page that loaded was a request to course with no request, no form, no post, right? If we didn't do the header, if we just did an include, if I hit refresh, it's going to say, oh, the last thing you did was this form data post. And we might run into some trouble. Good. All right. We okay with that so far? So again, just kind of reviewing what we did there last week. Same with delete, same with update. We just header on back to the course page, the index page. So we're just going to kind of copy this model for all of our different tables, because we want to interact with them, to be able to create, to read, update, and delete one at a time. So let's do like the list view first. So we're going to add, how about a student view? Let's add a new student view. And I'm going to essentially copy all of this for now. We'll come over here and change it. So what was different about student? Well, student, well, we had a name, or we had an ID, we had a name. Let's see, what else? I had to rebuild my database too. And actually, I did not watch my previous video to make sure I had the exact same column, so I do apologize. Oh, and yeah, I forgot to change the port number. There we go. 5080. So I can re-add some columns for you if you need me to, so you can keep them in sync. What's up, Jeremy? I'm doing class. Just took the cats to the vet. Sit back a little bit. All right, come on, PHP My. Open up our college database. Take a look at the student table. So I had major, name. I think we also had what, an email address field. I'm gonna go add that. Let's add a new column. Yeah, major and email address. Okay, so I've got major. Let's add email address. And that'll be varchar. I don't know what, 50 characters is probably fine. It doesn't actually matter. We'll do 100 in case you have super long email addresses. That should all be fine. Cool. So name, major, and email address. Do we have first name and last name separate? It's probably more proper. Again, thinking about good database design, you definitely want to keep things separate. You don't want to have multiple values in one field. But this one okay? So name, we'll have major, and we'll have email address. Address. No? Okay, they're just all one. Cool. Easy. So this will be from students as student. Right? Name. Major. Email. Address. Credits. Okay, and then our form then will all go to student.php. And we don't need to do any filtering, so actually we can skip the filtering one, right? We weren't going to bother with that. I did want one line break. All right, so add student. Student. We'll go to student.php. We're going to post the name, the major, this is the email address. Right, and change our names here so we can go find them later. Name, major, and email address. Email address. We should probably do all underscores, I think. Try and keep that same convention. Should I change that in the database? Or that's probably fine. Okay, we don't have credits. And then this is a add student. This is that hidden action you can send. You send a hidden input. This triggers the action. Add student. Okay, so there's an add. We'll update student. Now this one still just needs to go to... Oh, did I have the wrong... Maybe I didn't fix that one. This is student.php. And again, we're posting name, major, and email address again, so I'll grab those. But I also need the ID. So the student ID to update the name, the major, and the email address. Great. Update student. And update student. All right. This is student.php. We're going to post the ID. Great. Delete student. Okay, so I think we're good with our form here. Again, we don't actually have any students loaded yet, but that's okay. And then we want to add this student controller. Oh, we're doing the view. That's right. We need to make the student controller that we can add to here. So we'll take the course controller. We'll copy that one. This will be student.php. Oops, we don't need PHP. Student.php. There we go. And we'll want to load the student model and the database model. Want to get the action. See, if not, it's list students. And if the action was list students, great. We don't need to find any that. We'll say students is list students. That doesn't need any arguments. And then we're going to include the student view. PHP. And this one's just including it in on the controller page. And then if we want to add a student, we need a name. We have name. Great. We don't need credits. So we needed major. Go for input, given the input post. That was major. And then an email address. Email address was email address. Right, and then we're going to add student. Given the name, the major, and the email address. Great. And then we'll header back to student.php. If we wanted to delete a student, get the ID, call delete student, given the ID, header back to student.php. For update, we still need name, major, and email address, but we also need ID. We'll call update student. Given the ID, the name, the major, and the email address. And we'll header back to student.php. Okay, now we don't actually have any of those methods yet, right? We need to go add that to our model. So we'll have a student model. Okay, the list students. So it's just a bunch of edits here, right? A lot of copy paste here. So don't need to worry about department. Don't need any of that. So we'll select star from student. Right, prepare the query, execute the query, get them all, return. Oh, we don't want that to be courses, we want that to be students. Students. There we go. Delete student. Oh, did I misspell that in here? Delete students. Yes, thank you. Student. Delete student. Thanks, Stix. Hey, like 10 bonus points for you, friend. Okay, then for add student, we wanted a name, wanted a major, we wanted an email address, and then we're going to check if those ones are not empty. We're good to move, right? Name and major is not a nothing, and email address is not a nothing. Okay, if those are all fine, then we're going to insert into student. We're going to insert name, major, and email address. Now, again, it is case sensitive, so you do have to be a little careful here. And then having spaces is important too, so they don't all run into each other. So email address with a capital A, because that's what I did in my database, was a capital A. PHP My admin. Here it is. Right, with a capital A. I don't know, as long as I'm consistent. It looks like I was using underscores other places. All right, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to change that here. Then I want to change that. We'll put it to a lowercase. Email address with an underscore. And I'll feel better about myself. Email address. Okay, and then we go and we're going to name major, and we're going to bind the values of name, major, email address. So go bind name, go bind major, and bind email address. Okay, then we can execute our insert. For delete, delete from student, where ID equals ID, and go. Update student. Now we still need name, major, and email address. And if these ones are not empty, just our little sanity check here. And I just want to update student, set name equal name, major equal major, email address equal, that's getting a little long. We can go down to the next line. Email address equal email address, where ID equals ID. We'll bind all those. Right, so we can do our same bindings from before. We'll copy paste for major and email address. Okay, how's that look? So we've got our functions here for student in our model. We've got our student view set up, right, where we can view our students. And we have our pages here. Hopefully they all match. And then we have our student controller here, which will header everything back. We'll check for the actions, include these. We should be in pretty good shape. Let's take a look. Oh, I'm mixing and matching my upper and lowercase here again. I'm a little upset, but that's okay. Now what we want to do, now we have our student page, we want to go add that to our navigation view. I'm going to add another reference, another link here to student. Student.php. Right? And we're just including this in our pages. Right? In our view, right, we include the navigation. First thing in the body. That should be student list, right? There we go. All right, I think we got it all, so let's try it. Let's come back to our page here, refresh. We have a students page. We don't have any students yet. I can turn off my debug tools. So let's add a student. So Eric Janeski, ASM, Chernes at umich.edu. Will add me here. Oh, uh-oh. Student view line 18. Can't find it, can't find it, can't find it, can't find it. Uh-oh, we did something wrong here. All right, so it's not matching up student view. Let's see what we did. Student view, line 18. Oh, there's no course here, that's why. I renamed some of these, but not all of them. Student, 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 student. There we go. How's that? Now we can list them all. And we can update. So Eric, ID 1. Let's change my first name. We'll change the major. I don't know. Sure. And sure, we'll change it to my OCC email address. Why not? Let's see if we update. Uh-oh. So we got the student, but nothing is loading here. We're back on the student page. Oh, and it had that post, so it never got far enough here. Hi, kitties. You coming to say hi? All right, come here, kitties. Oh, I'm sorry. They just got back from the vet. They are a little bit sad. Hey, kitties. You staying here? All right. All right. Let's see. So what went wrong here? Trying to update. Oh, update. There was no action. That's why update student. There we go. So when you copy paste, sometimes it's a little risky, right? We'll see. Okay, now it updated. We were able to send it through. And now again, when I refresh, because I did that header redirect, it's able to refresh, no problem. It's not trying to resend my form here, which is nice. Okay. We all right so far? We got courses, we got students. Should we keep going? How about sections? I have section.php for our section controller. We'll load a section model. We'll list sections. Actually, let me just try and find and replace. See if I can do student with sections. Look at that. Let's replace. Is that it? Oh. And then how about student with section? Well, list sections, section view, add section, section, update section, section.php. All right, do we do it? Nobody have any more students? No, there's no matches. Let's see, section model, list sections, section view, add section. Okay, so what do we need for section? What do we have here in our database? Let's take a peek. For section, I had the course ID, the instructor, the semester. I think we also had, what, a date and time, right? Daytime or something? Meeting date and time, or what's, I don't know, meeting time? Meeting day time. Sure. Okay. So the course ID, right, is going to reference the course table. So you have to have a course ID that exists. The semester is just varchar, instructor varchar. I was assuming name. Again, you probably have an instructor table, but that's beyond what we wanted to do. Oh, this should not be an int. This should be another varchar. Varchar, like 50 is probably fine. Okay, meeting date and time. Cool. All right. So we need to change what we have in here then. So we don't even have a section name, right? We have a course ID. We have a course ID, and that's going to be filtering on validate with an int for ID. And we had an instructor for instructor. We had a semester, right? Semester. Not the dollar there. And then we had meeting day time with meeting day time. Again, there is a date time field, but that's a very specific single date and time, like down to the millisecond specific, and that is not every Monday at 6 p.m. or every Thursday at 6 p.m. or Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. or anything like that. So we probably don't want to use a field like that. Dates and times are super hard. It's actually one of the hardest things in programming. All right. And then we'll add a section given course ID, the instructor, oh, looks like semester, course, semester. And the order doesn't actually matter as long as we do it consistently, but this will make it easier for us to be consistent if you always do it in order. Okay. Deleting a section, sure, by ID. That one should be nice and easy. Updating a section then. So we need all of those things in addition to the ID. And then we hand all of them to update. Okay. So I think the controller is good then for sections. And we need a section model. So the section model then, again, let's see if we can do a little find and replace. Let's replace student with section. So let's replace. All right, cool, we got a bunch. We didn't get all of them yet, but that's okay. Not everything's fixed. So adding a section, then, well, we had that over here already. We had all the variables up over here. Change that. Oops, nope, I had that was student. Here's add section. There we go. Go to the right page here. So course ID, semester, instructor, meeting date and time. So course ID does not equal 0, right, for integers, right, because that's our default. And semester is not empty, and instructor is not empty, and meeting date and time is not empty. We'll insert into section. We're going to have course ID. We're going to have semester, no $signs, instructor, and the meeting date and time. Values of colon course ID, colon semester, colon instructor, colon meeting time. We need to go bind all of those. Right, so course ID is $course ID. 2, 3, 4, right? Semester, instructor is the instructor, our $sign, meeting date and time is the meeting date and time. I already had a course ID. Oops, how do they do that? Right, so course ID, semester, instructor, meeting date and time, we can insert into those 4 things, bind and run. Delete section. Oh, did I not update student? Uh-oh, the student model. Delete student. There we go. We've had a typo. All right, so delete a section by ID. Great. Delete from section where ID is ID. Grab the ID. Update section. So we need all of these, including the ID. And then all of this thing we already validated up here. Copy that. As long as the ID is not 0, and all of these have values. Great. We're going to update section. We're going to set... now we got to do all these. Okay, so course ID equals course ID. Semester equals semester. And instructor equals instructor. And meeting date and time equals the meeting date and time, where the ID matches the ID. That's a little long there, sorry. Then we're going to do all of our same binding. We can run our query. Okay, so that should be good. And now we need a section view. All right, so for section view, let's replace. We'll do find and replace. We want to replace student with section. Replace, 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 replace. Look at that. Very cool. And now we just need the correct values here. So we're going to have course ID. We're going to have semester. We're going to have instructor. And then we're going to have meeting date and time. Meeting daytime. Or was it date time? Daytime? Meeting daytime. Daytime. Okay, so ID, course ID, semester, instructor, and meeting daytime for section and sections. Go do that. Great. To add a section, we need, all right, we got to fix our inputs here. So we need a course ID. Okay, we need a semester. We need an instructor. Instructor, there we go. We need a meeting date and time. All right, and then we'll add a section. We'll go to add section. Okay, update section. Is that find replace case sensitive? That's weird. Section, 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 section. All right, so for update, we need all these same things in addition to the ID. We leave the ID there. Great. All the other ones for delete, we just need the ID. All right, what do you think? That's section list. Oh my goodness. Let's try it. Oh, and we should add section then to our navigation header. Sections for section.php. All right, well, we don't have one, so course ID 1, semester summer 21. Sure. Instructor Eric Renesky. Oh, that course was like 3, right? What course? Yeah, 3. There we go. Course ID 3, summer 2021. Instructor Eric Chernesky, Thursday, 6 p.m. Uh-oh. Well, it headered us back, but nothing actually happened. It happened in our section model. Course ID, semester, instructor, meeting date and time. So I think this if probably didn't run. So what happened? Our course ID, semester, so we're probably typoing something here. Let's take a look. Section. All right, so we're looking for, ID, semester, instructor, meeting date and time, course ID. That's right, course ID. Course ID is the correct one here, not a regular ID. Try that again. Section 3, semester, summer 2021, Chernesky, Thursday, 6 p.m. There we go. Now we have a section. Look at that. All right, let's update it. So we'll update section 1, course ID 3, semester, summer 2021, instructor, how about Prof. Chernesky? Here, we'll change my title here then. And then we'll make Thursday, 6 to 9:45 p.m. Oh, can you imagine going that late? That would be awful. It's not as bad when we're in person and we can have like time for break and chat and like, here's the lab exercise, please go try this thing. Sorry, my camera's like super dark today. What's up with that? Like dark out, my window's too bright. Yeah, if we had the lab computers, it wouldn't be so bad to stay so late, but you folks to just sit there and watch me till 9:45 would be miserable. Like, I would get bored. But, okay. We all right so far? So section's working out well. Now we got to do enrollment. Right, and then in enrollment we had the grade, the section ID, and the student ID. Hydration, thank you so much, my friend. I just finished this. All right, I got one little sip left. I'll have to get another one at break. There we go. Thank you. All right, so let's do enrollment. So let's start, I don't know, let's do a... Nope. What did I just do? Copy paste that one. Enrollment. Okay, and we want to replace student with enrollment. Replace. Whew, look at that. Student model. All right, cool. So let's see what we need to fix. List enrollments, add enrollment. We don't need name, major, email address. We need grade. Or a section ID, student ID. Sure, section ID. Here's a section ID, and we want to validate that as an int, right? And then we need a course ID. Course ID. As a course ID. And then we need a grade. Grade is the grade. We'll add an enrollment, given the section ID, course ID, and the grade. We'll go back to enrollment. To delete by ID, perfect, no problem there. For update, we need all of those plus the ID. We'll call update plus these three. Okay, so we got our enrollment controller ready to go. We do our enrollment model next. Nope. There we go. Copy that one. This should be our enrollment model. Okay, we're going to replace section or section with enrollment. Okay, sure. Replace. Okay, list enrollment. Select star from enrollment. Should work. Add enrollment. So we need the course ID. We need the student ID. And we need the grade. Okay, if course ID is not 0, and student ID does not equal 0, and the grade is not empty. We should do something. You know, the grade, maybe that one's fine to be null. And typically we like to avoid nulls because that doesn't really mean a whole lot. And maybe you have a different placeholder value for not assigned. I don't know. I'm not really sold, but that's okay. Course ID, student ID, grade. Values, course ID, student ID, grade. Okay, so we need to bind course ID, we need to bind student ID, and we need to bind grade. Okay, cool, we can do that. And then we're going to do the same for our updates. Update enrollment, set course ID equals course ID, set student ID equal to student ID, set grade equal to grade, where ID matches. So our parameters need to change, right? We take these same three parameters here, we update those. Awesome. All right, we should be good to go with our controller. Now we need the view. So let's grab section view. Nope. Oh my goodness. Section view. Find and replace. Enrollment view. All right, so we're going to replace section with enrollment again. And we don't want case sensitive. There we go. Replace. That fixed it. Maybe we want some of these to be capitalized though. Okay. That maybe it'd be nice to do it with. Okay, sure. Add enrollment. Okay, so enrollment just has a course ID, a student ID, and a grade. Does not have a meeting date and time. Student ID and a grade. Cool. Do that. So then to add one, we need a course ID, we need a student ID, and we need a grade. It's a little repetitive here, I'm sorry. Grade. and grade. Course ID and student ID. Student ID. Student ID. Let's add enrollment. Okay, great. Update enrollment. We need these same ones plus the ID. Cool. And then deletes the same. Cool. We got it all. Now let's go to our navigation view here. We'll add one for enrollment. Let's do these. Enrollment for enrollment. Maybe add the S. They've all been plural before. And then just because this will be in alphabetical order, I'll like this a little bit better here. Right? I think that's more alpha order. Let's see if it works. Oh, goodness. Oh, I changed section. What did I do? Did I update section PHP? What did I replace here? Line 16? List sections. Sections. Wow. Weird. Section line 16. Undefined variable enrollment in section, section view line 16. Did I update the wrong one? I updated the wrong one. Okay. So enrollment view is the section one. Oh goodness, so this should be section view 2. Section view should be enrollment view. And then section view 2 should just be section view. Oh goodness. Okay, alright. Section enrollments. Enrollment PHP line 17. Okay. Enrollment view. No, enrollment line 17. List enrollments. In my enrollment model, list underscore enrollments. List underscore enrollments. Did I spell it wrong? No, I did. I spelled it the same, right? Function list enrollments. That's the enrollment model. Did I spell it wrong here? Oh, I didn't include it. That's right. I did not. I missed that one in my updates. This is the enrollment model. There we go. That ought to fix it. There. Now we get an enrollment list. Oh, that's ugly with the lowercase there. It needs to be uppercase enrollment. All right. So casing does matter. Here we go. We get an enrollment list. All right. So course ID 1, section ID, or no, course. Oh, that's section ID. Oh goodness. Did I screw that up in my database? Am I doing this wrong the whole time? Yeah, that can't be a course in enrollment. Oh, it is a section. It is a section. Okay, so I messed that up in my enrollment. So anywhere I have course ID needs to be replaced with section ID. Replace. So that's section ID. And up here, that is also section ID. Okay. And then in my enrollment model, I replace course with section everywhere. Okay, and then in the enrollment controller, place all those. And then in the enrollment view, this is what I find to replace is nice. Okay, I did that one already then. All right, section ID. All right, so section should be 1, section ID 1, student ID 1. We're going to enroll Eric. We're going to give him a grade of, I don't know, space for now. It's just a space there. Sure. And then, okay, sure. Update 11111. Let's give me an A this time. Uh-oh, it didn't update. 111 A. Something's not matching. Okay, so where's our enrollment model? Let's see. Are we sending it to update enrollment? Yep, to the enrollment page. We'll take a look at our enrollment page. If we're going to update enrollment, we want the section ID. Oh, I have it twice in here. What did I do? Section and student ID. There we go. That's weird. Okay, update 1. Oh, I gotta probably refresh the page. There we go. 1A. Uh-oh, still nothing. Still didn't go. Okay, so let's check our enrollment model for update. A section ID, a student ID, and a grade. Section, student, grade. Oh, I missed all this. I didn't update all that. Alright, so if a section ID is not 0 and the student ID does not equal 0 and grade does not equal empty, then we should be able to update. 1, A. Give me an A. Oh. Alright, I have an error in my SQL syntax. Near ID equals 1, so I'm probably missing a space here. Oh yeah, so where ID equals ID. Need the where in there. Resend. There we go. Now I have my A. Whew. Alright, that was 50 minutes or so. How'd you folks do? Again, hopefully it wasn't terrible. This is just a good chance to get into these very specific details. Right? Casing matters. Naming things right matters. It's very particular. So you have to be a little careful with it. Right? Okay. Awesome, Mark. The project the first way. Yeah, so without the MVC model, and it's perfectly fine. You're going to have a bunch more files. So instead of having the model where you can just say, hey, do this function, do this function, do this function, you have to do a lot of separate files. So an update file, a delete file, and that's okay. You know, I think actually I had some of those wrong in my course controller, didn't I? Was I sending it to the right location? On my course view, right? Course view. Yeah, I don't want to send it to delete course. I just want to send it to course. So I must not have tested that very well. Course, because I don't have any of those other pages. Didn't we try and update a course, though? Super weird. Oh, wait. We didn't update one, did we? Let's make sure update works. So let's update 3, CIS 2454, web system development, PHP, and JSP, credits 4. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so update works. That's good. Okay, just like 4 files more. That's not too bad. Yeah, because we have one model file, one view file, one controller file for each, rather than update, list, delete, or create, read, update, delete. Yeah, instead of 4 per, we have 3 per. Now, what's cool, though, because we have all these views, if we wanted to have, like, one main page, we could load them all. And just, all right, here's the area where I have all my courses, here's the area where I have all my sections. Because it's really obnoxious to go back and forth, right? To say, oh, what was that ID, what was this, what was that, as we're trying to enter values that need to exist in the other ones. Right, so there's ways we can do this much better, for sure. Right, and we didn't do any of the filtering in the other ones. Right, if you want to add some filtering, again, it would be a similar idea. Just what do you want to filter on, that sort of thing. Okay? And then the URLs are all really nice too, and then refreshing is nice, that sort of thing. All right, so why don't we take a quick break, and then we'll get into debugging, we'll get into forms, we'll look at arrays and functions and objects. We'll see how far we get tonight. Again, we don't want to go super late, and I think we've got a little bit of time if we need to in the schedule. Yeah, next week, secure websites, basic authentication. So I'm going to show you how to do email, and I'll tell you you can sign up for a Gmail account and use their email, but I'm not going to actually do it because then it puts a password into my source control, and I want to put that publicly. There's better ways to manage passwords, but we don't really have the time to get into what are the better ways and the trade-offs and all sorts of reasons. I'll just tell you, don't put passwords in source control. And, you know, we did that here. I mean, I feel bad about that, this database model test here. Again, this is bad. We feel bad for doing it. We just don't have time. right? So again, with the email, it's publicly available, so I don't want to give that one out because then I'm the one who registered for it and I get in trouble with Gmail. But it's super easy to send emails, so we'll look at how to do it, but we're not actually going to send anything. Okay? And I think we should be able to get caught back up. Anything we don't get from arrays, functions, and objects, we can pick up on 624. Because we'll have all 2 hours, there's no project to talk about. And then the web programming with Java, MVC, and Tomcat is relatively quick. There's not too much to do aside from the setup, so that's more work on your side. Like the intro here is pretty basic. All right, and then we'll keep moving with the JSP side of things in Java and servlets. We'll pick up some server pages, some object-oriented review. So project 4 is just a basic JSP. Can we get one up and running? Then we'll break for the midterm. And we'll come back for some more advanced JSP stuff. We'll talk about our final project. Again, definitely would encourage you to pair up with someone for this final project. I'm not going to require it given we're in this crazy remote learning, but it's worth a little bit of that coordination hassle, because as you're coming up with ideas and thinking through how you can approach and solve this problem, you can bounce the idea off someone else. Right? And remember, programming is all about breaking down problems into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until we can make the computer solve those small pieces. Do those small little bits here. Okay? So start looking for that. See, hopefully your learning partner, you folks are still chatting, keeping each other up to date. And we can go from there. Oh, we also have to talk about Project 3 tonight as well. So yeah, we'll need a little bit of time to talk about Project 3. Okay? So when we take 10, I'm back to using my music from my friend Shaping the Silence because I kept getting muted for random things from Spotify. I don't know if it was pieces of the song or if it was actually the ads. I don't know. And if I get too many warnings, they're going to shut me down because Twitch doesn't actually care. They're just a big corporation, right? So we'll put some of this music back on. We'll take 10. So we'll come back about, what is that, 7:07 or 7:08? Okay, we'll be back in a little bit. Thanks, folks. Hey folks! Alright. And I came back and my cat was sitting right on top of the keyboard. That was not great. Not great. Alright, so we're going to look at debugging first. Alright, so there is a debug option here. So if you run debug, it doesn't really do anything. It adds this session start here, but nothing's connecting. So if you sit and look, it says, hey, waiting for a connection here. Oh, I'm sorry, did he make some dinging noises? So nothing's happening. Right? We're not actually connecting because we haven't set up debug mode yet. So what you do, you go Google xdebug. Here, our first link here. It's going to tell us what we need. It's super cool. So it gives us ways to do debugging, and what we need to do, we need to go find out which one we need. So go to the install link here. And we're in Windows. If you're in Mac, right, or Linux, use that one, but for Windows here, we're going to go to the download page, and we're going to follow these instructions. So here's the download page. There's a bunch of different versions you can get here, right? If you look at the install page, right, the wizard here says, oh, okay, let's make sure you get the right version. Now this is important, we get the right version. So the full output of PHP info. So what you do, you go back to XAMPP and you go to admin for Apache. Oops, I got to change my port number again. Sorry. No! 50,080. You go to PHP info up here. Just give it all this. Select all, copy, Control A for select all. We come in here, paste it all in, and we analyze. It says, okay, great. What do we want to do? Go download this one here. So this is the DLL. It says we should go download. Then we need to go edit the PHP Ini file. So we're going to download it and put it in this folder. Now, usually they get a little upset when you download DLLs, and you say, sure, that's fine, I want it anyway. No, don't delete. Keep anyway. Right, we're going to go grab that file here. I'm going to copy it. All right, and then I'm going to go put it in my XAMPP folder. So I copied it. I'm going to go put it back. Oh, that's too large. That's fine. In XAMPP, PHP ext. You drop it right in here. So we have the PHP xdebug file here. All right, we're just following the steps. Okay, now we're going to add this line here as a Zend extension to my PHP Ini. You come back to XAMPP and go to Configure PHP Ini. It's going to launch it for us. And we can just throw it right in at the top. If you look for xdebug, you don't see anything else here. I'm sorry, Sean, I don't know much about Macs. I imagine we could get it working because PHP is pretty popular and it would probably work. But we can check and see. All right, so we put in the Zend extension here. Tell it to go load that DLL. Great, we're going to stop and restart. Now we relaunch PHP, the PHP info page. If you look up xdebug here, here's the section. So xdebug is set up. Now, a lot of these variables are funny, but there's a client port here. So the default port is 9003. Okay, and we should see that the DLL is, where did that get added? I think it just shows up because we're running it, right? Yeah, see version 3.04. Yep. Okay, then we're going to come into Tools and Option, or we want to stop this actually. We want to stop debugging. Here we go. So when we stop, it says, oh, here's what you need for version 2. Here's what we need for version 3. So we need some additional versions here. So we're going to copy version 3. We're going to come back to our PHP Ini file. Admin, nope, sorry, wrong link. Config, PHP Ini. I'm going to drop these in here. Debug localhost 2003. IDE key netbeans xdebug. We're going to save those. Right, xdebug. Great. Save those. We'll stop and start Apache again one more time. One more time, come back to our PHP info. Now we'll see the step debugger is enabled. We want the step debugger. Okay. Now we're going to come back to NetBeans here. It says, hey, you might need to change the debugger port option, but 9003 should be the one we're using. But you can go into options and check that out. Your PHP debugger, 9003, should be good. Okay, so we had two different things to paste in there. First, we pasted in what they told us to, the Zend extension. Then we pasted in what NetBeans told us to, and we only saw that when we tried and failed and stopped. Okay, but I'll post all those lines in the Discord later. Now we should be able to go to, let's, where's our index page here? See if we can put a breakpoint right here. Breakpoint. Oh, in navigation, that's right, navigation. I don't know if I can actually put a breakpoint in here. This is not. Alright, we can try it here in navigation. I don't know why I wasn't going to index. That was weird. I think it doesn't. It's not able to stop nicely inside of here. Alright, so now we're going to try debug mode. Now it sits and waits. It looks like it's spinning. We come back to NetBeans, and we're seeing, oh, here we are. Oh, well, it started debugging immediately. All right, well, that's fine. I want to continue until I hit my next breakpoint. Here's my next breakpoint. Okay, index PHP. Sure. And I can step. And now my page loads. Awesome. So we'll take a look at courses. It waits. So it's a little bit obnoxious sometimes because it goes through each individual page here. But now I can see with this variables window, just like we did in Java, right? We'll see, hey, what is action? Well, we didn't get a value for it here, so it's null. So did we get it out of post? No, we didn't get it out of post. Now action is list courses. And we can see, okay, if action is list courses, we're going to check for department. Department is, where'd it go here? Did I lose my department? At courses. Oh, because it didn't get anything, so we don't have a value for it. That's fine. And courses, here is a list, right? We'll see it has an ID, right? Department, a number, a name, and credits. We can actually see the values here in debug mode to see what we're doing. And if we want to step into that view, right, use the step into button, we'll go into our view page. Now there's not a whole lot happening here, but it's going to stop at our, oh, there's our navigation breakpoint. There we go. So here's our PHP loop, right, for course in courses. That's step. So now the individual course here then, right, is CIS 1500 Intro to Programming Java. 4 credits. Okay, and then we stop. Great. Sometimes it gets upset when you end your session, but that should be fine. Don't worry too much about it. Okay, and that should get you set up for debugging, which is much nicer than having to look at those errors and be like, oh, where did it crash here? What was that error? Right, so if you have trouble, let me know. I can definitely talk you through it again. But it's not too bad. You plug it into the install wizard. It tells you which one to download. You download that one. Plug in the Zend extension URL, or the path to your the DLL you downloaded, and then you try in NetBeans. NetBeans fails, and you copy the config from NetBeans back into PHP Ini. A lot of little steps, but your PHP Ini should have essentially this when you're done. It should get you in the right spot. Kitties, what are you doing? Right? Does that part make sense? And if you have to watch it a little bit here and there, that's okay. Not too big of a deal. Wouldn't worry too much about it. So we're going to take a look at some form data. There's lots of fun different forms you can get data from. So some different elements, input elements. So instead of everything just being a text box, there's lots of other things we can get out. Radio buttons and checkboxes are a lot of fun. Drop downs are a lot of fun. List boxes. There's lots of cool ways we can give input to our program. Okay. Can I get this to load? Come on, computer. Work with me. Of course. Try one more time here. There it goes. All right, cool. Okay. So debugging was 6, right? Form data is chapter 7, and then we'll look at 11, 13, and 14. Let's see how far we get tonight. We still got to talk about project 3 as well, okay? Sorry, one second. The CD is a little sad about something. You want to go out? Out the door. You want to go out or you want to stay in? Out. All right. Sorry, she looked at me like, no, I don't want to leave, and then she walked back in. Yeah, the virtual desktop for sure should be able to. All of this should be working for you without any trouble. If you use the Horizon VMware clients, you should be good to go with those. All right, cool. I think we're pretty. Yeah, we've been nice and stable. Nice. All right, so other ways we can get some input. So let's see. So on some of our forms here, let's see. Where would be a good place to add one of these? I want to look at like radio buttons. Those ones are pretty fun. For hey, I want to do this thing, or I want to do this thing, or have a menu of choices that you can pick from. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go to our enrollment page. And we want to set up the model so we can do some filtering. So we'll see if we can set this up to show me specific grades, maybe. People with a specific grade. Right? So let's do another function here. So maybe, how about list enrollment for, or with grade? I don't know. With grade? Sure. Why not? Given a specific grade. Okay, we're going to select star from enrollment, and we'll say where grade equals grade with a colon, and then we'll go bind that value here. Go bind grade. Yeah, I mean, the book version should work if you're using the specific versions the book told you, which I always find really awkward and weird to say, hey, install this piece of software that's old. I'd rather, let's use the latest and greatest. Yeah, so let me know. Let me know what I can do, Sean. We should be able to get it set up, though. Okay, so I'm going to find enrollments just where there's a specific grade. So then we'll go to our enrollment view, and then we're going to add a form then that lets me see specific grades. Okay. We don't want to do it in add, so we'll probably just add a filter like we did for course, right? So we had a filter by specific form. Let's do that. Let's go to our enrollment view. We'll add that one up here. We'll filter by grade, and instead of an input box here, what we want to do, we want to have some radio buttons they can pick. Right, so that way we'll set up, hey, pick this one, or pick this one, or pick this one. Okay, so we'll have a input type is radio. Type equals radio. Okay, we'll have a name equals, this will be our grade.
The package guy needs you to sign something.
To sign something?
Yeah.
Is Mom not here?
I don't know where she is. But he was busy taking care of Jack, and I
Okay.
said, "Do you need something?" And he said, "Yeah. Can you get your mom or dad?"
All right. I apparently have to sign for package. I'll be right back, folks. I apologize. All right. Oh no, did I lose my connection? Walk away and lose the connection. Are we back? No? Uh-oh. Test, test, test. Not going well today. Sign for your David Hasselhoff robot. No, and it was not even a package delivery person. That's okay. They wanted to see if we wanted some extermination services. But, alright, sorry about that. Cool. So, we want to add that radio type here for grade, our radio button, and then we're going to have a specific value. So the name is going to be the same for every radio button, but the value will be different. So we'll look for A here, and then you tell it what should show there outside the braces. And then we're going to add, might as well add a line break. Okay, so we're going to add a couple different radio buttons here. So A, B, C, D, C, B, D, E, F? I don't know. Might as well. F, E, E, and F. Okay, we're going to submit per filter. Okay, then what we're going to do in our code then, we need our action here. So this will be this action as filter by grade. Sure. So in our controller for enrollment, we'll look for that particular action. So we'll say, hey, else if the action is equal to filter by grade, then we're going to have enrollments not being a list of enrollments, right? That'll be my list enrollment with grade, given a grade. And we need to get that grade from our input. So it works the same way here. You're going to filter the input by the name, and then we're going to get the value back out. Then we can include that view. So this would probably be a get, right? We probably don't want to post this. We'll take a look at our enrollment view, make sure this is a get. Yep, this is a get, because it's like a read-only thing. Okay? And then let's see if we can get specific enrollments out based on by grade. Let's see here. So we'll go to our enrollment page. Here's filter by grade. Oh, we probably need another line there. That looks a little funny. Or maybe they all don't need maybe they don't need new lines. Let's make this. Again, we don't have to make it look really pretty, but maybe something halfway decent. A, B, C, D, E, F, maybe? If that looks any better. Here, so let's see. Can I filter on B? Oh, there's nothing there now. Uh-oh. Filter by grade for the action. Enrollment, action, filter by grade, yep. Get the grade, from my get, it's the enrollments, and then we'll include the enrollment view. Okay, so something didn't go quite right. And then it says, hey, grade is B here. Filter by grade. Right, well, let's see what happens. Let's put a breakpoint in here. How about there? Okay. We'll try it in debug mode. So again, it's going to stop every page for some weird reason. I don't know exactly why. We'll just continue. Don't need a breakpoint there. We'll get rid of that one and continue. Right, we'll go to enrollments, and it's going to stop again. We can continue. And then we should get our enrollment page. Let's see if we can filter by B. Now let's see what happens. So we're in debug mode. Right, we're back here, requiring a database model. Great. Requiring the course model. Great. Get our action. Do we have an action? Action is filter by grade. Right, good. Is it list courses? No. Is it add course? Why am I on the course page? I go to the course page? Oh my goodness. Friends. This is what happens when you copy paste. The enrollment view here was sending us to course.php instead of enrollment.php because I copy pasted from course. That probably should have been more obvious. Okay, that's all right. So I don't need any of those. Okay, we'll just relaunch. Relaunch, please. Try the enrollment page. Filter by B. Right, they're gone. All right, how about by C? No, how about by D? How about E? How about F? How about A? And we're back. We get A back. Now, it is a little not ideal, right, that it's not being selected. Right? We should probably want to try and select this if that's the grade being passed here. Right? That would be a little prettier. Because if I hit B and I filter, I don't know that it's filtering. So maybe we could include that. We could say filtering by, right? That might be nice. So if we have a grade value, we could say filtering by. Yeah, why not? So we got the navigation, enrollment list. Let's do that. We'll add a little PHP. We'll say if grade, oh, we don't, yeah, we should have the grade variable from this view. If grade does not equal nothing, then, right? Well, what should we do? We want to echo filtering by grade of grade. What do you think? Uh-oh. Oh, my parentheses on the wrong side. My goodness. Did I really break that? That's really unfortunate. Doesn't like grade. We should have a grade variable. The real one's going to have a grade variable. Oh, you know, we're not always going to have the grade variable. That's right. All right, well, let's put it here too, I guess. Maybe that'll work. No, all right, or we can put it in here. Filter by grade. Echo that. Still doesn't like that. Alright. But that's a quote, right? There we go. Semicolon. Echo grade. Append the grade. Append them together. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. There we go. That ought to do it. Is it fine if I didn't pass grade then? Okay, it was fine with that. I'm just upset with this one. Let's see if that works. So filtering by grade B, because that was what was passed in. A, filtering by A, filtering by B. If I don't filter at all, oh, I don't get anything though. Uh-oh. I'm filtering by grade, and we passed in nothing. Remember, when we try and grab our grade here, it's grabbing us nothing. So That is not great here. So how about we just check real quick? We can say if grade equals nothing, then we'll return everything. Uh-oh, we didn't get it. By A. Oh, goodness. We don't get anything now. Nope. That needs to be a double equal sign. I'm sorry. There, now A. Filter with nothing. Great. Okay. That's a little happier. What do you think? And maybe we could have cleaned that up. Maybe that could have been in the same list enrollments here. Right? Like we did with the course filtering. Well, just lots of different options, right? Any way you want to go about it, that makes sense. We'll get the job done. Okay, then we've got the radio button for, let's pick this. Let's do something here. Checkboxes are similar, but what you're going to get back is the data can tell you whether or not it's set, which will tell you whether or not it's checked. So they're a little bit trickier to use because you'd have to check each one of those checkboxes to see if it's been set or not. So if we did some checkboxes instead, let's see, where do we want to put that? Maybe we could filter by multiple enrollments in our enrollment view. Or do you like the radio buttons? The checkboxes might be a little annoying, but we could try some checkboxes somewhere. Trying to think of where else we could have a checkbox. That's probably okay. So it just gives you an array of values, which is pretty cool. All right, drop-down lists. These are much more fun as a drop-down list. So now, adding students here, or enrollments, having to say, hey, here's a section ID and here's a student ID, is really obnoxious, right? Or let's tackle sections first. So having to have a course ID is really annoying every time, right? Because I'd have to go look at courses to see what the course ID was, and that's not fantastic for me. So what we can do instead is we can create a better view here. So let's go to our section view and our section controller first. So if we're going to list out the sections, what we need to get is a list of courses first. So we're going to require courses model. And I'll have courses equals list courses. And now that wants a department, right, for list courses. So I'm just going to give it blank. And remember, when we list blank here, it just gives me everything for a department. We want to get all the courses. Okay? We're going to do that in our controller for section. So we're going to get that list of courses. Then when we go back to our section view here, we'll have that list of courses. And instead of putting a course ID field here, what we can do is we can give it a drop-down instead. So this will be the course here, and then we want to add a drop-down option. So we're going to have an input, a select. Name is course ID. And what we need to give it then is a bunch of options. So inside of here we'll have an option, and it will have a value. That'll be something specific, and then it will have a display. So if we said CIS 1500, something like that, and then that was the value should be the ID, because that's the course ID. What it should display then is like CIS 1500 / option. Okay, now if we had 2, CIS 2151, right? Well, I'm not going to do them all right now, but we can see what that's going to look like here. Oh, goodness. Course, not courses model. That's probably just a course model, isn't it? Yeah, course model. Course model. So we get this pretty little drop down here. That's nice, right? And then we should probably add that BR there as well. Section view. There we go. We'll add a little break. But I don't want to have to hard code everything, right? I don't want to have to do this myself. So what I can do is I can loop through, right, using that courses data that I have. So I'm going to start a PHP loop. And we can do that same loop like we did up here, right? A PHP for each. This will be for each courses as course here. What do we want to do? Well, the value, right, I need to course ID here. I need the course ID as the value because that's going to be what I'm going to get back. And then what I'm going to show then is the PHP echo course name. We probably want department too. Ugh, that's a little ugly. That's okay. So that was department. Right. Quote ID, sorry. Quote ID, quote name. And that'll be the option. And then I'm done with my for each after I've added all my options. So for every course here, I'm going to use that courses variable to get the ID as the value, and I'll echo the department and name. So now I get all the courses here. Oh, we probably want the number too, right? Name, number, oh my goodness, name, department, number, and name. There we go. Look at that. So now I can pick, hey, which course is this going to be a section for? Okay, so let's add a section of 1500. This is summer 2021. This is Eric Trenesky again. This meets Monday, 6 p.m. or 6 to 9:45 p.m. Add that section. And what it passed, right, was the course ID. So for this one here, if I go back to courses, right, so the course ID for this one should be course ID 3. Let's take a look at section. So if I add a 2454 for summer 2021, instructor Eric Trenesky, meeting Thursday, 6 to 9:45, we can add that one. Now we get course ID 3, because what we're getting back is the value that's set. This is just the display. Does that part make sense? So I'm a big fan of these options, these drop-down lists, because they are so much nicer than having to type everything in. Because if we can get that list, we should give the list to the user. Right? We should make our code a little easier to use. We should make our site a little bit easier to use. It doesn't have to be pretty, again, but it should be easier to use. So we can give them the choice of, oh, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Does that make sense? Cool. So again, it'd be nice to do all these places, right? So in our like our update, well, which one do you want to update? Well, we could like give them, hey, here are all of our sections, right? Sure, and maybe you even give them all the course info, and then you give them the other info here. That might make for a really big drop down, but maybe that's not the worst in the world. Maybe then we also do the same thing here for course, right? Now what's cool, right, because remember all of this stuff is like piecemeal, we could have a PHP view that is just the course list select. And And like this whole select here, I mean, even the label, if you really want, could all be one PHP view file that we just include. And then you can use this any other time you want. Right? Anytime you copy paste your code, you should feel bad about yourself. That's a good rule of thumb for programmers. Right? If you got it in there more than once, you should pull it out into a method or do something with it. So we could pull it out into a little view that does this. Right? So let's add a new PHP file. This is our course option list. And we're going to take that from our course, our section view, and take all this out here, put all that in here. Oops, yeah, all of it, right? There. Give it a little format. Then we can include this one from our view. So we'll go back to our section view, and then we're just going to include. Was that above or below? I think it was above, right? The views / course option list.php. I think that is it. The pathing always confuses me, whether or not I need a dot or a slash in front of it. Let's give that a shot. It looks exactly the same, right? But now I can include that again if I want over here for update. Right, let's just grab this. Probably both of those, right? So then in our update section, instead of course ID, oh, there was that line break. There. We'll include that again. Look at that. Now I have a nice drop down again. And really, anywhere I want to reference the course, like how about enrollment? I could change. Oh, that has to be by section. Sorry. Nope. So that only works for courses, but that's okay. But that sort of idea, that's why we want to build these things so that I can kind of plug and play. Here's a component. Here's a view. Take the view anywhere you want to use it. Go for it. Have at it. Okay, just like writing methods, writing other Java files, Java classes, the classes will call things in other classes, right? You write all these little helper pieces, and we can reference them. Right, you okay so far? A list box is similar to the option box, but a list box you can pick more than one. So it's actually the exact same thing, but you tell it multiple. And I'm not a big fan of that. Again, I mean, sure, if that's you want to be able to pick more than one, go for it. Okay. Ooh, yeah, special characters. Did we talk about the special characters and when people can send like JavaScript things through to you? No, we didn't do that, did we? Okay. So when people are sending you data, if you're going to just accept that data, it's risky. So remember we did this filtering. We said, hey, filter A, and now we're saying, hey, here's A. So if I put something in here, I put, something else, I get the thing they gave me. And that's a little bit risky. Give me 1 second. I want JavaScript Alerts. I can never remember how to do these, so I just make sure we grab the right alert here. Script. My goodness. It's not the one I want. Give me the one I want. There, here we go. So I don't need this function, I just need an alert. This is an alert, script. So if I take all of that and I throw that in as grade. Oh good, it didn't run. Why didn't that run? Interesting. Should have ran, right? Try that again. Goodness, come on, copy. Why is it not letting me paste? Paste. Oh. We have an error on our page? Uh-oh. Enrollment PHP 14? Oh, okay, so it's just failing. It's crashing hard here. Okay. So our page didn't actually load right because we tried to throw the script in here. All right. Sorry. Oh, what am I not Googling right? Script alert in input box. I want to do some sanitizing. Yeah, is this one it? Is that what I want? Maybe that's the one I wanted. Test. Aha! There it goes. That's a bad thing. That someone was able to take my URL, put in something nasty, and make some JavaScript run. This is a big security issue. Because it's a big no-no. If someone can make JavaScript run on your page, and they can send someone a bad link to your page with some nasty JavaScript, they can make bad things happen. Especially for pages where like you're logged into. So taking input and it's called sanitizing it, or encoding it, is really bad form. So if we're going to have any input and it's going to go directly onto the screen, we need to do something about that. Can you have a reverse shell? Oh, like trying to get access? Yeah, it's ugly. All right, so we're going to take a look. So instead of just outputting grade here, what we want to do is we want to use this special encoding. So it's HTML special chars given the grade. So it's going to sanitize that grade variable that we got. So we're still going to get the input, but we're going to sanitize it. It's going to take everything that's a special character in HTML and convert it to a safe character. So it doesn't run. It's just, it gets converted so that the computer doesn't think, oh, this is a script I'm supposed to run. Right, so we look at our page source. These are special characters. The sorry, let me zoom that in for you here. Ampersand. I can never remember if there's a T in there. I'm stupid. Sorry. It's just not one of the things I know. So, and LT semicolon is less than. And quote semicolon is a quote sign. Quote sign, greater than sign. Quote sign, quote sign. So those are HTML encoded characters. So when we view them, they look correct. But when the code is being interpreted by our computer, it doesn't say, oh, here's a script I need to run. Because this is just a view-only thing. So we need to sanitize our input with the HTML special characters if we're going to throw something right on the screen. It looks really nice. It's much nicer doing it that way. Okay. Folks, okay? I know we're getting a little short on time. We've got the other chapters to cover. What else do we want to get to? Yeah, doing arrays, functions, and objects. I think we're okay without doing those right now. We've done functions, and we've essentially done objects as well, but not entirely. So with an object, you get to build your own class, which is really cool. So why don't we hold off on that until next week, and we can talk about the next project. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these forms, right, like our little option list here. and we're going to be using the MVC model for this next project, where we have the controller that goes out to the model, asks the model to do stuff, and then sends you the right view. Let me commit all this to GitHub. You're welcome to use this as a starting point here. 2454, there we go. Give that a close, make sure everything is good. Yep, save all, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Here's MVC project 2 plus option list. Sure, why not? All right, awesome. All right, so what we're going to do here, let me pull up our course page for our next assignment. This one was worth, bleh. This one was worth, how many points again? I got to remember. 16 points, okay. Weird number, but sure. So project 3, we're going to build on this. So if you want to use mine as a starting point, that's fine. No problem here. If you want to use yours, that's cool too. So project 3, due in 2 weeks from tonight. That's July 1st. Man, we're already getting to July. That's crazy. So we're going to look for about 20 points on this project. Okay, let me get you that classroom link. All right, sure. For summer 2021, project 3. Where is this one here? Sorry. Project 1 template. There we go. Sorry, I almost got the link. There it is. Hey, thanks so much for following, Texas. Welcome along. All right, so here's the GitHub Classroom link. We'll please submit the URL to feedback, pull request, along with a self-assessment using the rubric. All right, so we're going to continue developing our college registration program. So using the MVC model, you need to add a table and page for CRUD operations for, this is bills. So when you enroll in a course, so when enrolling in a course, add a bill for the student, or this is add or update the bill for the student to show the new outstanding total balance. And we'll just assume a flat rate of $100 per credit. Right, so we're going to have to get some information out. Right, when we hit our page, right, and we can see our courses, right, they're worth so many credits. So when I enroll in that course, I need to see how many credits that course is worth, and I need to add a bill for the particular student for this amount. Okay. Here's the page. So we're really not actually going to create bills. So we don't actually need the create. We want to be able to read. We don't actually want to be able to update or delete either. So we'll create a table and a page for listing all outstanding bills, or all bills. And then on the bill page, add a drop-down or an option list for the student, and a text box for a payment amount. Right, so we're going to say, okay, so here's the list of them, and let me see, for this student here, I want to add a payment of this amount. Have a radio box for, what should we use? Like a type of credit card. Credit card, like Visa, MasterCard, Amex or something. And a box for the credit card number. Credit card number. Okay, so this, when enrolling, we need to update that bill. We need to go, this needs to be an update to the enrollment page. So when you create an enrollment, you need to go add that bill. Okay? And then on the bill page, we'll have that option for, so this is essentially the update, but it's not just a, hey, give me the number, tell me what to update. This is, okay, let me go add a payment here. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to update the outstanding balance based on the payment amount. Update the outstanding balance, reduce it by the payment amount for that student. Does that part make sense? So we're going to add, so we need a new table, and bill will have to reference student. So we'll have like one bill per student, essentially. That's definitely not exactly how it works, but this is okay. We don't need to get too complicated. So we'll just have one bill per student with the total outstanding balance. And then when we make a payment here, we'll reduce the balance by that amount. That part makes sense? So if we'll have all of the bill data, we'll know, hey, here's the student. We'll have a nice little option box for the student. Which student you want to make a payment for. The option list for the student. Showing what? Showing name. Showing the student name. Text box for payment amount, the radio box for type of credit card, and a box for credit card number. You update the outstanding balance to reduce the payment amount for that student. Okay. And then we also need to go update the rest of the pages to use option lists for course, section, student. So we want nice drop-downs on the other pages. Right? So instead of it, hey, which course should we update? Give me the list of courses to update. Right? For course to delete, give me the list of courses to delete. Right? So for update and delete, or update and delete, use a option list instead of asking for the ID. So that's not actually going to be as bad as it sounds, because we'll go in and we'll do it once. Oh, I closed it already, I'm sorry. Like we did for the in section, right? Here's the course list here. You do this once, and then you can use it everywhere else. We could go to course, and now I can, instead of having this ID, I can have that, I can just include that same view. For delete, I can include that same view. Right? So we're going to do that for all those drop-downs to make this look a little prettier here. So we did it for section. right? So student doesn't reference anything, but the update and delete we want to add. For enrollment, then we want to be able to enroll, well, give me a section dropdown, give me a student dropdown. Right? Same for ID, same for section ID, same for student ID, same for delete. Okay? So let me add a rubric here. Make a new rubric for project 3. And if you folks would like, as we're getting closer to the end of the semester, and we're essentially at the halfway mark here, which is crazy. What happened here? Add a rubric. I broke it. Project 3. Delete and delete. This is missing is no points. And complete will be 5 points here. Okay. What did I do? All right, can we just attach it? All right, it's there. All right, let me just go fix it on the other page here then. Okay. No. Save. Oh, that was nice and asked me. That would have been sad to lose all that. Okay, so we go to my rubrics. Let me fix that up here for project 3. All right, cool. So this is the MVC model and views for the dropdowns or option lists. 5 points for that. Right, so if you start with mine, you already have a base MVC model. We just need to add the bills page as an MVC page with a model, with a controller, with the view. Right, and then we're going to be adding views for the other option lists. Okay, the bills page for displaying all outstanding or all bills, and the ability to pay bills. Okay, well, we'll just do the base bills page. Bills page lists all bills. And then bills page allows for payments to reduce the outstanding balance stored in the bill table. Bills table, sure. Bill table. Okay, so using MVC, our bill page, we list them all. We can make payments to reduce them. What else did I have? I have to go back and see it again now. Come on, edit. Oh, that's right. And we updating enrollment. So the enrollment page adds or updates the bill for a student at a rate of $100 per credit when an enrollment is added. Updating the enrollment and setting it for a different user sounds really tricky. It'd be nice to fix that, but I think that's going to be more obnoxious than we want to try and tackle. That sound okay? If we just, it will pretend we're not allowed to update enrollments, or at least to change the student in the enrollment. Is that okay? All right, I like that. Yeah, let's do that. So let's don't allow the student ID to change in the enrollment update form. So all you have to do is just take that piece out and then take it out of the update line as well. So just don't update student ID equals student ID, just take that out of the update. Okay, because we're gonna give a nice little drop down there. Hey, which enrollment do you want to update here? Okay, and we can go from there. All right, awesome. Awesome. Let me go ahead and close that. Cool, so that's our project for the next 2 weeks. Again, as we are getting closer here to the end of the semester, we're actually halfway now. That's what I was saying before when I got distracted. We're at the halfway mark in terms of content-wise, right? Because this is it week 6, right? But we have a midterm. Come on. So we've done 6 weeks of content now. Here we have 1, 2, 3 more, 3 more. This a little bit here. This is not as long of a night. It's not anything out of our textbook. Just looking at some JavaScript stuff, which is kind of fun. We give a quick mention to frameworks. The goal of the course is to be, this is how the tech works. There's so many different frameworks coming and going that we just land on, here's a framework. But you want to know the basics first, otherwise the frameworks don't make any sense. So I'm not really counting this night. And then our final projects are due. We're going to get together on Zoom, show off our final projects. So if you want to work with your partner, or pick a different partner, that's perfectly fine. You are welcome to completely collaborate on this project, but I do need you to individually submit. And to work with a partner, this, but please each submit individually for grading purposes. If you don't each submit individually, D2L doesn't tell me to grade it for you. Not that I am caught up on grades. I apologize for that. Individually. Okay, I'll be working on getting caught back up on grades shortly. All right, you got folks have anything else? What's up? No, Mr. Aaron is not feeling well tonight. Sorry. Hey, I'm finishing up class, okay?
So can we watch a movie?
Not right now. Why not? I'll be out in a minute. All right, so any other thoughts, questions, or concerns? I don't have any office hours out ready this week, but regularly Monday, Wednesday from 3 to 4:30 and 10 to 11 p.m. If you can catch that. If you can't make the regular hours, well, Sean, no one redeemed the points. You need one here? All right, we can do. I'll give you a freebie. Give you a freebie. Let's see. Here's a good one. So I have this nice colander we use all the time, anytime we're making pastas for doing stuff. And we were getting out for dinner. I warned my son, he's 13, and usually he scowls at my dad jokes, so it just makes me want to try even harder. I told him not to yell into it because he might strain his voice. And I got a real good eye roll from him on that one. All right, awesome. So let's see if there's anyone else on Twitch land we can go pester. And we'll have a great night. Let me know what I can do for you. And we can go from there. Let's see, who's around? Well, a lot of people around. You guys into chess? Should we go watch some chess? Or makers and crafting? Doing some rotary laser and resin filled designs. Void. We got some options tonight. We'll go check out Boyd. He's doing some fun stuff, probably. Alright, folks. We'll raid over that way, and you take care. I'll see you around. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you, okay? Alright, take care.
And join kind of perfectly, right? That's a risk with this design.